Hey guys, it's Rod from Huntington Company, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about 3 of the most important things to look for when it comes to finding a watch, specifically a vintage watch that is going to hold value in the long term. And also make sure you watch till the end because we will be talking about the giveaway that is going to happen soon on this channel, where we're going to be giving away a free watch. So with that being said, let's get into the 3 things that you should look at. Before we start, the important thing is to understand that it is not all about investing or making money off of your watches. I get that a lot of people this past year, especially with the high rise in the watch market, everybody was looking to make a quick flip or a quick dollar in the watch world, and that's not what watches are. Watches are a hobby, and if you're truly passionate, it's about collecting and enjoying a watch on your wrist, because at the end of the day, it's just a piece of jewelry, and it's not really anything more. But with that being said, there are some attributes that you can look into, so when you purchase a watch, even if the value does go down or up, or you might have the thought that you might not like the watch and want to trade it or do something with it in the future, there are 3 important things to keep in mind when purchasing a watch, just so it can hold as much value as it can, no matter how long it is after you purchase the watch that you want to let it go for, or if it's just because you want to spend your money in a smarter way while still enjoying the hobby. All these things make sense, but just keep in mind this is not how to make money on a watch, because that's not the main purpose. The main purpose is just collect and enjoy what you love, because that's what makes collecting fun. But with that being said, let's get into the first thing you should look at when it comes to finding a watch that's going to hold most of its value. Alright, so the first thing that you need to look at, and in my opinion the most important thing, is going to be the condition of the watch. If you're looking for a specific watch, spend the extra few $100s or whatever it might be to find the best condition possible. So for example, if you're looking for a 1601 with a simple silver dial, try to find one that is all original, that has beautiful tritium lume, that has not patinaed into a dark gray or maybe even a brown color. The lume is still all there, the dial has no scratches or wear, the case is still sharp, and the original bracelet still has a lot of life left to it. That's the main important thing, the condition of the watch. Look for something that is still sharp and has so much life left to it, it looks like it just left the watchmaker yesterday. And that mindset should be the same in any price range we're looking at. There are beautiful and crisp examples in any price range. Take a look at the Caravel we have in the shop, for example. This watch is under $300 and it's in new old stock condition. Just because it's still in brand new condition and has its original box, booklets, and hang tag doesn't mean that we're gonna price this watch through the roof, because I think value for a watch is important. So the value is still there. For $225, you have a new old stock manual wound vintage watch. For number 2, take a look at the dial and the features of the watch itself. Make sure that the watch has something rare or uncommon to it. Just like the 1601 silver dial, that is a great start into the vintage Rolex world. They're still affordable and well under $5,000. If you can find one in great condition, that is awesome. But if you want to go a step further, look for something like a Sigma dial. This shows that the hour markers and hands are made out of white gold. And you can see the 2 O's symbolized on the outside of T Swiss T. That signifies that the dial is both tritium but also a Sigma dial. These dials are more collectible, and so they'll be worth more in the long term. At the same time, color dials are an amazing thing to look at. Blue dials, matte white, matte black, all these dials when it comes to vintage Rolex are significantly more than the silver dials that you find on the same exact model. And there's a reason. The color dials were not produced as much, and also a lot of Rolexes with their colored dials did not hold up to the standard of a simple silver dial because there was a lot of defects in the paint, and that actually is the same with most other brands. Just like a vintage Omega, if you can find one like the DeVille we have in the shop that has no patina or wear on the blue dial, that's special. Those blue dials over time did wear and tear, and you can see them peeling around the tritium lume and so on. So if you find one in beautiful condition that is a colored dial, that is a great watch to have. So the first thing to look at is condition. The second thing is it rare or unusual? Double signed dials are also a great example. If you love the Hamilton field like the ones that we have in the shop, also a great way to invest a little more money and get something that is a bit more special and will hold more value is a double signed LL Bean or Brookstone model. At the same time, if you can find double signed Omegas with a retailer name, same as for Patek, Rolex, AP, and so on, these examples are going to hold more value in the long term. If If you have something with a beautiful dial and it has a special color or a double signed or sigma or so on, this is something special. So it's worth more and it will hold value in the long term. Now let's get into number 3. The final thing to look at kind of does piggyback off of the second thing that we talked about, which is rarity, and that's going to be the quantity of how many watches were produced. And same with the example of blue dial Rolexes. The quantity of produced blue dial Rolex 1601s is not as high as silver dials, so that makes the watch more rare. So as time goes by, these watches are going to break down. A lot of them are going to be parted out. The dials are going to wear out. They're going to get damaged and so on. Little by little, there's going to be less and less available on the market. If you have a watch that you have your eye on and you notice that there are not a lot of watches out there like it, then that means that the watch is pretty rare. But also don't get this mixed up with the idea of a watch just not being liked. There's a lot of affordable watches from no names, simple cheap quartz watches, or even for example some Grunes and Wittenauers and so on that were made in cheap quartz productions. There are times that I've bought Seiko 5s that I couldn't find any other example of, even modern ones like a double compressor Seiko 5. This example I paid up for, and this was a few years ago when I was just starting off with the idea of trading watches. The watch was beautiful and I couldn't find it anywhere else, so I knew even if I paid up for it, somebody would pay big bucks because it was worth something. It's rare. But soon after putting it online and reaching out to a lot of people in groups and threads, I noticed that this watch wasn't really that rare. And yes, it was uncommon, but it was also unpopular. That's probably why Seiko did not make many examples of the Seiko 5 double compressor, because nobody really wanted it. And it was only sold in a certain region, so nobody even cared for it or knew about it. Quantity is important, but keep in mind, there is a difference between something being rare and something being unpopular. Those are the 3 things that I think are most important. First and most important, look at the condition. If the watch is in great condition and you love it, pull the trigger. If you're looking for something a bit more special and have a few extra dollars to spend, look at the dial, if it's double signed, or if there's something that is uncommon or rare for that specific model. At the same time, look at the rarity, and piggybacking off of what I previously said, the quantity of the watches out there. Were they limited releases? Are they from a big name and produced in small batches? That's pretty important. And please remember, this is not what to look for to make money with your watches, because watches are not an investment. And that's not where you should be going to invest all your money for long term. But these are the things to look at when you want to purchase a vintage watch, but want to make sure that you don't lose all your money or make a wrong move, because there's a lot out there for you to learn and enjoy when it comes to vintage watches. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you were able to gain some new knowledge in regards to vintage watches. And if you're starting out on your vintage watch journey and have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to us either on Instagram, by email, or on our website. All our information is in the description below. But with that being said, I do want to bring up the giveaway. If you are not subscribed and don't have your notifications on, please do so, because in the next few weeks we're going to be talking about our first giveaway, which is going to happen February 1st. And we're going to be giving away a free watch. So with that being said, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications, and I will see you guys in the next one.